And so that was a nice example of setting up a return visit. Another nice thing that you did is found on page 147 in the VE book. And it talks about the use of our scriptures, basically. There are a couple of things listed in the second paragraph that honor Jehovah.
Well, hi Rachel. What are you reading about?
Hi, Delaney. Well, I'm reading about Abigail. She had qualities that I wanted to imitate because they honor Jehovah.
Abigail? I'm not sure I'm familiar with her. Do you have time to talk about her?
Sure. Well, she was a wife of Nabal, who was an Israelite, and when she was married to him, David was hiding from King Saul, and he was surrounding their flocks just by chance. And Nabal disrespected David, and Abigail helped a great deal to diffuse David's anger against him.
Well, what happened?
Well, I see you have your Bible. How about if we go to 1 Samuel 25, and we'll read a few scriptures from there. I'll read verse 2, 3, 7, and 8 to start with. It says, "Now there was a man in Man who worked in the Carmel. The man was very wealthy and had 3,000 sheep and 1,000 goats, and he was then shearing his sheep at Carmel. The man's name was Nabal, and his wife's name was Abigail. The wife was discerning and beautiful, but the husband, a Calebite, was harsh and he had behaved badly." Now, David sent his younger men to talk to Nabal, and in verse 7 and 8, this is what they said. "Now, I hear that you're doing your shearing. When your shepherds were with us, we did not harm them, and they found nothing missing the whole time they were in Carmel. Ask your young men, and they will tell you. May my young men find favor in your eyes, because we have come at a joyous time. Please give to your servants and to your son David whatever you can spare." Now, how about if you read verses 10 through 13?
Okay. Nabal answered David's servants, "Who is David, and who is the son of Jesse? Nowadays many servants are breaking away from their masters. Do I have to take my bread and my water and the meat that I butchered for my shears and give it to the men who came from who knows where?" To 13. At that David's young men returned and reported all these words to him. David immediately said to his men, "Everyone strap on your sword." So they all strapped on their swords, and David also strapped on his own sword. And about 400 men went up with David, while 200 men stayed with the baggage.
Okay, now one of Nabal's servants had run and told Abigail about what had happened between David's men and her husband. And she saw an opportunity to not only discreetly correct what her husband had done, but also to restrain David from taking a false step by killing Nabal and his men.
Well, how did she do that?
Well, she rounded up a bunch of food and sent the food and grain out ahead of herself, and then she rode out to meet David. And her gift had arrived before her, or before she did, so that he was softened. His attitude was softened. Now, let's go back to the account at 1 Samuel 25, and I'll read verse 26 and 27. And this is Abigail speaking. "And my Lord, as surely as Jehovah is living and you are living, it is Jehovah who has held you back from incurring blood guilt and from taking revenge with your own hand. May your enemies and those seeking injury to my Lord become like Nabal. Now let this gift that your servant girl has brought to you, my Lord, be given to your young men who are following my Lord."
So she reminded David that he could incur blood guilt if he didn't let Jehovah correct Nabal.
Right. So from what we've read so far, can you see any of Abigail's qualities that might be honoring Jehovah?
Well, I think so. Well, she was discreet in the way she intervened in the situation. And when she met up with David, she was very humble and very respectful when she was talking to him. And later, when she reminded David to let Jehovah correct Nabal, she was showing wisdom.
Right. And I think those are good qualities for all of us to imitate, so I wanted to learn about them. And if you would like to get together again tomorrow, we can talk about what happened when Abigail returned home to Nabal.
Well, I think that'd be great. I look forward to it.